This is a continuation of the I don't know what you would call it, larger pot, outdoor cooking. These this style of cooking utensil is called a Scotch bowl. They're meant to be on the small, medium to small size. They're meant for feeding 1 to 3 people, as opposed to the larger bean pots, which were meant to create meals for multiple meals, multiple portions. A bean pot of this size could probably make enough beans for an entire week. And then you could take beans and put them into a smaller container, heat them up to finish out the recipe of the day. Or it could be kept over the fire and kept warm for when it was eaten at the time. This is called a Scotch bowl. The features on it are that the bottom is rounded, so that there are no corners for food to stick into and to burn. Anywhere you stick a spoon into the Scotch bowl, it's going to be up against the bottom, and you can stir the whole bottom and the whole sides at the same time. This is it's got a bail, and the bail was meant to be used either over a tripod or over a swing arm appliance for a fireplace hearth cooking platform indoors. The bottom is flat, and it shows both a heat ring and a gate mark. And the only other marking is the number 2. There was a transition period as far as manufacturing history on these. Most of these pans that are gate marked and have no other markings, they fit into that category of the great unknown. The only sure thing that you can say about them is that because of the gate mark, they were most likely manufactured before 1900. There was a major shift in manufacturing technology for cast iron that happened right about the 1900 time mark. It starts at about 1890 and it ends sometime around 1910. And during those 20 years period, pretty much all of the manufacturers had shifted over to the new style of making or casting iron. But just like people of today, the newest technology isn't adapted by everybody right away. Like cell phones, you've got I imagine I don't even keep up on it. There's like what 4G, fourth generation mobile phones, and then there's people like me that are still using the basic flip phone. So not all new technology is adapted and put into use immediately when it came out. This has a number 2 on the bottom. In one point in history, number 2, each manufacturer of cast iron cookware was usually a subdivision of a larger wood stove producing company. So each stove producing company had their own sizes for the removable plates on their cook stove called eyes, and these heat rings, at one point they were sized and designed to fit down inside of the cooking eyes. Every manufacturer had their own definition of what the numbers meant. And then around the 1900 mark, these numbers took on a new meaning as to what diameter the actual piece of cookware was. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what this number says. In some cook pots, a number on the bottom means what is the volume that the pot will hold. So a number 2, you got to look at it and say, well, does a pot that's 9.5 inches across and 4 inches deep, will that hold 2 gallons? And looking at the Dutch oven that's supposed to hold 5 quarts, and that this pan will fit inside of that one, I'm doubting that this pot, this Scotch bowl, will actually hold 2 gallons. But it's a form of cookware that would have been found before the age of gas stoves. So it's in that part of history. Scotch bowls generally weren't built with a covering lid in mind when they were used. These were meant to be open pots. If you wanted to cover them, you would use a piece of wood or pine boughs or something along those lines to put a cover over the top of it. If suddenly the dust kicked up enough that you didn't want dirt in your food, or you wanted to cover the pot for some reason, a piece of firewood, a piece of lumber, piece of canvas, something along those lines would have been used as a pan cover. This is a larger, it's a bean pot. This stands 8 inches tall, so it's twice the size as the Scotch bowl. And it's also gate marked. This has a rounded bottom, just like the other, and this particular one has got feet so that it would stand on a hearth, and you could put coals underneath of it. Or it's also got the bail so that it could hang on the same swing arm fireplace appliance This is roughly 3 times the size as the Scotch bowl, and the Scotch bowl will easily fit inside and it'll easily fit inside and have there's enough room in there for another one the same size. This pot, when I got it, it had a lid that's also got a gate mark on it, so it's old, and it's got a flat lid, flat top on it. There's no guarantee that this lid actually matches to that pot, but it does fit reasonably well on the top, and it does the chore. So given that, we'll just keep them together. But this is just an older version of what had been used in the past for cooking on wood, coal, and open fires. So since I had the example, I thought I would show it also. And there we go.